Hey guys, welcome back to Andy Narrates, where we review stories that beautiful people like yourselves post on the internet. We got a couple of stories for you today. Story 1. I am full of regrets, believing that my husband cheated on me when he didn't. Cheating is something that I have always had strong opinions about. I have been cheated on before and it sucked. Everyone knows that I don't forgive cheaters. So when my sister-in-law, my husband's sister, staged an elaborate scheme about my husband cheating, I ended the relationship. My relationship, unfortunately, wasn't the only one that was affected. My sister-in-law, Lisa, 32, her best friend Emma, 32, and my husband, Jamie, 29, were best friends growing up. Emma got married early when she was 20. Her husband was abusive. She has 2 children with him. She got divorced 10 years later, and she was finally free from this abuse. He suffered a lot, however, and was, and probably still is in therapy. Her and her children. I, 30, met Jamie 4 years ago. We got married 2 years later. Everything was just awesome. What I didn't know was that Emma wanted Jamie, and Lisa made it her mission, when Emma finally got divorced, to bring her brother and best friend together. I didn't know any of this, so I never knew that there was a hidden agenda when, in a few months into my marriage, I overheard Lisa talking about how Jamie was cheating on with a married colleague of his. In hindsight, I can tell it was staged because she was saying unnecessary details and was very loud. She meant for me to hear it. I confronted her then and there, and she played very flustered and apologized and begged me not to ruin my marriage. She told me Jamie loved me and she never wanted to lose me as a sister, but at the same time, she provided me with pictures and texts. Of course, they were all photoshopped, of my husband and his colleague. She begged me not to mention where I found out, and I was grateful for her support and promised her to not expose her as the source. I confronted my husband with everything, and he adamantly refused to admit to anything. It hurt me more than he never admitted nor apologized. Ever. He asked me where I got this from, but I kept my promise and I told him that it was an anonymous tip. I also went so far that I contacted the colleague's husband. At the time, I thought it was the right thing to do. The colleague is this very beautiful woman that my husband worked very closely with many hours a day. I was a bit jealous of that, and I confided my fears with Lisa, and she used it against me. I asked for divorce, and the colleague's husband did too. After that, Lisa, who I thought was my friend, who called me her sister, disappeared from my life, like I never existed. Even when I was bumping into her, she was short with me and indifferent. Months went by, and I was still heartbroken and processing the separation. My husband stopped trying to make me see reason and agreed to divorce. He said he wanted to move on. I started having doubts. Why is Lisa doing this now? She was my friend and wanted the best for me, yet now she didn't even answer my texts. I followed both her and Emma on Insta, and I started seeing how Emma and my husband gradually started hanging out. At least once a week, Emma or Lisa shared stories about my husband with Emma and her children. What I did next is very questionable, and yet I don't regret it at all. I was still very good friends with Lisa's on-again, off-again boyfriend's Mike's sister. I told her my doubts and everything. I told her that Lisa was my source, that my husband was cheating, and that I'm starting to doubt everything, and that I needed their help to unearth the truth. Mike was easier to persuade to help me than I expected. He had Lisa's passcodes, and he went through her messages with Emma. And there was everything. They had plotted everything. They used my idiocy and insecurity and made me throw the best thing that had ever happened to me. He sent me all the proof I needed, even the original photos they used to Photoshop my husband with his colleague. My world has turned upside down again, and I went down a deeper depression. I stayed in bed, called in sick for 2 weeks. I have not only ruined my life, but also another family. I don't know why I'm writing here. If I want advice or just vent, I don't blame anyone but my stupidity for ruining my marriage. I should have trusted my husband and the love he's shown me. I should have been honest with him about everything and where I got the news that he was cheating from. I should have not gone to her, the colleague, and her family just because I thought her beautiful. She has since quit her job and moved out, but still had her husband's contact with me. He was crying and yelling at me, and all I could think of was that I deserved every insult he threw my way. I found the colleague on Instagram and DM'd her everything and a long apology. She didn't answer me. I don't know if I should tell my husband too. I know I don't deserve him at all. All I know is that he doesn't want me anymore. But maybe he should just know what Emma is doing and what she's capable of doing. He deserves to know the truth. Maybe I could start with reassuring him that I am not trying to win him back. I'm just trying to help him understand and apologize. I need to apologize for everything. I don't know. Of course, you need to tell him what that snake of a sister and that B-word of a friend of hers is. How dare they do that? You should have followed her off the cliff, and maybe you should have trusted a little more, but to be clear, you were manipulated, and he needs to know now before this goes any further. I would go full on scorched earth on her ass and blow her world up, just like she did to yours. You can't let her get away with that. F off with all this you did nothing wrong BS. Whether you were tricked or not, your husband tried reasoning with you for effing months to see the truth. And who do you listen to? A friend. Then you go as far as to ruin a whole other effing innocent family because boo-hoo, I'm so jealous and feeding into my insecurities instead of talking to my husband. Doesn't matter who the F that friend is or what they call you. Your husband is your partner. Communication goes a long effing way. You need to tell him straight up what happened and send that proof so he knows, not a question. This doesn't even affect me, but F you. F you and every effing person remotely like you. Men aren't some effing saints, but I read and hear about so many goddamn stories of men getting their entire lives ruined by some stupid effing B-word on some shit that isn't even true. You know how genuinely terrifying it is sometimes to be around women like you? To know at any point in time, a man can be accused of some shit, and suddenly there is nothing he can say or do to prove his innocence without hard evidence? All you sympathizing women and simps can downvote me for this one. I don't effing care. The only ones to feel sorry for are Jamie and his colleague's ex-family. Of course you should show to your ex-husband. Whilst you're at it, show all the proof Mike sent you. Hi, I have now an update. Thank you for being so supportive. I honestly didn't expect that given how long and boring my story was. I remember being so desperate and wanted to tell everything from the beginning and put it out there. Maybe to try and make excuses for myself and for what I did. I appreciate that you wanted to help. I decided not to meet up with Jamie. Every time I tried to text him and ask for a meeting, I panicked. That wasn't a good sign at all. I wanted him to know everything, in details, and I tend to be all over the place when I'm panicking. So, I decided to email him instead. I made a lot of drafts, cross-checked all the information, and waited a whole day before sending, adding some details here and there that I've forgotten to include. I sent him all the manipulated pictures and the original. Every screenshot Mike sent me from Lisa and Emma's conversations. I made it clear, however, that I wasn't trying to manipulate him to have me back, because I knew that what I did was unforgivable, but that I wanted to warn him about who he's dealing with. I told him that I've been watching Emma and Lisa's Instagram, and I've seen that he was getting cozier with Emma. I wanted him to know all the facts if he was dating her. This took all my energy to write. Just the thought of him dating Emma. I can't. I texted him that I've sent him an important email. He didn't answer me. On Wednesday, when I came back from work, Lisa, Emma, and Emma's 2 children were waiting for me outside of my building. When I let them in, stupid me, Lisa started yelling and threatening me. She told me to call and tell Jamie and Mike that I had made it all up because I'm a pathetic loser. She told me I didn't want her as an enemy because she would make my life sour. Believe me, you don't want me to make destroying your already miserable life my mission. Emma just smiled the whole time. She later said that my husband always had a crush on her and that he wouldn't believe my nonsense because he could finally be with her. The thing is, it felt like Lisa was more angry that Mike knew what she did rather than her brother. And she was really annoyed about Emma and told her to shut up all the time. I couldn't get them out of my apartment, so I just left and called Jamie. I told them that they were at my place and that I couldn't get them out. 15 minutes later, I saw them leave. Jamie texted then that he wanted to come over if I was alright with it. #yes. He told me that he was very hurt that I would doubt him like this and believe rumors. I told him everything again without panicking. I told him that I loved and trust Lisa. She was like my sister, and I asked him to put myself in my shoes, and if he happened to hear Lisa talk about me being unfaithful, would he have any doubts in his loving sister's intentions? He stayed the night and left in the morning. We have been texting several times a day and talking on the phone and FaceTime every night since. He says that he loves me, but that he doesn't know what to do. He's very hurt. By his sister, and Emma of course, but even by me. He hasn't talked about canceling the divorce. I will just have to wait, and that's understandable. I've turned his life upside down, twice, in such a short period. On a happier note, my husband's colleague and her husband are back together. My husband met with them and apologized. I've already told them everything, but my husband felt the need to apologize personally. Mike has ended it with Lisa. Lisa and Emma's relationship is very strained. Both have blocked me from Instagram, of course, but apparently Lisa is blaming Emma for my leaving her, and Emma has tried to throw Lisa under the bus by telling Jamie she was innocent in all this. I really hope my husband forgives me, and I promise that I will make it up to him and love him #forever. I'm so happy that this ended on a decent note and that your husband believed you. This story had me literally so angry for you when it came out. I'm glad you got justice, and I hope you and your husband work things out. It might just take some time. Take care. Oh my days, what an ordeal. I hate such toxic people. Jamie was with you, had all the opportunities to get with the other lass, but didn't. The only way they could see a way in was to break him down and get to him while he was vulnerable. It's awful, and insecurities are horrific things. I do hope you get it sorted lovely, as you were horribly manipulated in an awful game. Reply: Emma believed that he couldn't pursue her because she was married. He has admitted that he had a crush on her when he was a teen before she got married. When she divorced, her husband Jamie was already married to me. Do you know if he was dating Emma? I guess that makes things kind of weird, and a lot to process if he was. He tried to move on and was seemingly happy dating another woman just to have another bomb dropped on him. It's really a weird situation. I'm guessing probably easier for the other couple involved because she didn't move on and happily dated someone else. I hope it works out regardless. Reply: No, he's not dating Emma. He thought it was weird that she was showing interest in him since she was my friend, and for him, you don't date your friends' husbands. Story 2. I hate that my boyfriend's a gamer. My boyfriend, 28 male, and I, 21 female, have been together for about 6 months now, but we were friends for about a year and a half before that. We've also been living together for about 5 months now, and this is my first time ever living with a partner. I'm currently 32 weeks pregnant with our son. He's put off quite a lot because he would rather be gaming. I've done all the baby stuff, went to all the doctor's appointments myself. I do most of the cooking and cleaning. It makes me feel like we're just roommates. He gets up maybe an hour before work, goes to work, comes home, and will game until he has like 4 or 5 hours of sleep left before he has to wake up. That's all he does. Game, sleep, work, smoke weed, maybe sex, and eat. I understand how fun and how much of an escape video games can be. I love to game myself. I just haven't had time for it because I've been trying to get things ready for the baby and took up more shifts at work to save up. It makes me resentful and jealous that he can do his fun things, but I can't. Someone has to do the work, and it's fallen all on me. Recently, I've been getting after my boyfriend about him helping me with the nursery. There's still so much left to do, and he promised me weeks ago that this is something that we would work on together. I'm the only one that's done anything for it so far, and honestly, I'm the only one that's done anything baby related throughout my pregnancy. When he asked me to move in, he made a lot of promises that he hasn't kept up with. I've told him how I feel about it before, and we recently had a big fight. I asked him a question, and he told me to F off because he was playing his game and he ignored me every time I tried to talk to him. So I took my phone out and shut off the internet using the app. He absolutely lost it, like it scared me, and I asked him to leave. He called me all kinds of names and said that I was ungrateful and that he should break up with me over something like that. I really didn't think he would blow up like that. I was just frustrated and tried to get his attention. He left that night and stayed at his brother's place. He said he won't go home yet, and I apologized. I feel like I crossed the line. I didn't know I would just make everything fall apart. I feel like he really does hate me now. I don't know how else to apologize. I just wish things were different. Edit. I would like to add that when I found out that I was pregnant and told him, he had to convince me to go through with the pregnancy and made me many false promises to be better and to be a good parent. Slight update. I don't want to post a full update, but he's decided to come back home today, so hopefully we can talk and maybe work things through. But I doubt I'll be any more productive than our previous conversations. I am going to give him an ultimatum though, as much as I hate to, but something has to change. Updates on my page. Girl, I'm saying this with so much love. You are his cook and maid, not his partner. Do you really want to spend your life like this? You have a baby on the way. You really think he will change diapers, wake up in the middle of the night, or help with anything? Get out and be happy, because I don't think you are. 3 big important things. He's in the grip of an addiction, because gaming can absolutely be one, and people that have addiction issues that serious get worse, not better. He has made it clear that gaming takes priority over you or the baby. Believe him when he shows you who he is. You did nothing wrong, and a balanced and sane person doesn't yell or flip out on their partner. If he does break up with you, you better believe that he'll be back around when he feels that you've been adequately punished, and expect you to step in line. You need to get away from him. This is probably the beginning of an abusive relationship. This is so full of really off-putting red flags. Sorry, but this is why we use birth control. Until we've been together for at least a few years, he's obviously not mature enough for a child, let alone to share the responsibility of being in a relationship. Ask me how I know. I know I was the same before my child was born, and a couple of months after took seeing how broken my now fiance was to get my shit together. So he came home yesterday, and I told him that I wanted to sit down and talk things through. I told him that the way that he acted wasn't acceptable and that I won't be tolerating anything like that again. I also said that I will need to see him help me around the house more. He apologized for how he acted. He even brought me flowers. We both had out from work, so he took me out to eat. I've been craving Mexican, so he took me to my favorite Mexican restaurant. Everything seemed like it was resolved. When we got back from work, I took a shower, and he said that we would work on the nursery together once I was done. By the time I got out and dried my hair, he was playing on the computer again. I tried not to get frustrated and waited until he was done with the game to try to get his attention. He just gestured at me to leave him alone and said in a few minutes he will log off. I went and did some laundry while I was waiting for about half an hour and came back. This time, when I tried to get his attention, he was much more annoyed and said that he would get to it tomorrow, but he would come to bed with me tonight. So I just gave up and went to bed early, since I was tired anyways. I woke up hours later, around when he goes to bed. I could still hear him yelling on his game. I got up and asked him to come to bed. I guess his friends that he was playing with heard me, and he just started mocking me and making jokes. I could tell that he was pretty drunk. I reminded him about our talk and how I can't put up with this forever. He jokingly asked if I would turn off the internet again, and I said that I would if that's what it takes for him to actually do something. You could see the switch flip in him, and he picked up a spare keyboard he just had on his desk and chucked it at me, started yelling at me, and absolutely lost it like he did the other day. Well, I packed my things and just left to go to my parents. At first he made fun of me, called me names, and then he started crying and apologizing. I didn't say a thing, grabbed what I could, and took my car to my parents. I called them on the way so they welcomed me, and I went straight to my old room. I didn't sleep at all last night, and I called out of work today. I'm just done. I don't know why I expected anything to change. Update to an update. Apparently he had had some outbursts at work in the past, which I knew. So I asked our coworker if they had footage of that, since they film everything, and there is footage of a freakout and of him effing a coworker in the back room. So today's just been a great day. Good on you for leaving after he threw things at you while drunkenly insulting you. Tomorrow, or whenever you're ready, go back there and collect all your stuff and leave. Bring your parents or friends with you to help pack. This ain't a healthy place for you anymore. Reply. I asked my friends to go with me tomorrow while he's at work to get my things. I haven't told them all the whole story yet, but they're down to go with me, no questions asked, so that was nice. When I was a lot younger and dumber, I ruined a relationship with my gaming. The first half of what he wrote sounded similar to how I behaved. Up until the throwing of the keyboard. I deserve to get dumped. Your dude deserves to never hear or see you again. I've known a lot of violent men in my life. Used to be friends with some. Don't let that dude ever guilt trip you into going back. He'll never change. The violence will only ever escalate. Good on you for leaving, but don't make the mistake of thinking he'll change for you. I am so proud of you for leaving. Don't give him any more of your attention, because you know he's going to be trying hard to get you back. I'm sorry that you're going through this. Trust me when I say I know how bad it hurts to leave when you don't really want to. But you know you should. You deserve so much more, and I'm so excited for you that you get to go find that now. Sending you many good vibes. Reply. Thank you. Yeah, he's been blowing up my phone to the point where I just had to put his notifications on silence. I know he's going to try to apologize and act like nothing happened. Alright guys, that was it for today's stories. Thank you very much for listening. Remember to smash that like button for me and subscribe for more stories. Thanks again guys, and we will be seeing you in the next one.